If you think about it from Google's perspective, what Google ultimately want is they want to retain their users. And to do so, they have to ensure that their users are getting a good user experience from advertisers. Welcome back to the Talking Web Marketing podcast with myself, Ilana Wexler. This is a show where we reveal the best tips, tricks, and tactics to increasing your website traffic and then converting that traffic into leads and sales. We also discuss what's working right now in the ever-changing world of web marketing so you can apply it to your business. Welcome back to today's episode of Talking Web Marketing. I'm your host, Ilana Wexler, and today we are going to be talking about something which is quite specific. So for those of you who have an AdWords account and are running traffic through AdWords, then listen up because this episode is for you. And I'm going to be talking about the 6 different hacks that you can do to improve your quality score. So let's get stuck in today's show. So before we get stuck into the nitty-gritty of these hacks that you can do to improve your quality score, let's take a little step back and just reiterate or cover, if you don't know, what quality score is and why is it important to you. So firstly, what is quality score? And it's essentially a number which Google assigned between 1 and 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, that's assigned at a keyword level in your account. So every keyword has its own quality score. And it's kind of like Google's way of telling you as an advertiser if they're happy with that keyword. So if you think about it from Google's perspective, what Google ultimately want is they want to retain their users. And to do so, they have to ensure that their users are getting a good user experience from advertisers. The worst thing that they want is for people to be showing ads and they don't provide a good experience for people. They're not relevant and there's a bit of a disconnect. And so to reward you as an advertiser for providing a good user experience for their users, and they reward you by reducing the amount you pay for a click. So contrary to what you might think, that most people know that AdWords is an auction, contrary to what you might think that the person who's in the number 1 spot, who's effectively won the auction, is paying the most, not the case with AdWords. The person in the number 1 spot might just have a really good quality score, and most of the time they're actually paying a lower cost per click than the person in the number 2 spot. So it's an auction, but it's an auction with a bit of a twist. And that twist is due to quality score. So hopefully now you can start to appreciate just how important quality score is to an account, because it is the fundamental driver in what you pay for a click. And in really expensive industries, for example, in Australia, plumbing, which the last time I checked was about $50 for a click, that can make a really, really big difference to how much you pay for a click. So we're talking about big differences in budget. So hopefully now you can appreciate why quality score is so important. And often when we audit an account and take on a new account, we identify the quality score of some sort of really key keywords, make these changes, which we're going to reveal in this episode to improve the quality score. And we can often reduce the cost per click for our clients quite considerably. So before we get started into how you can improve it, it's important to cover the components which make up quality score. Now, Google have revealed these components, but they're pretty broad brush categories and they don't reveal exactly the weighting of these metrics that make up quality score. But they have said that the biggest factor contributing to a keyword's quality score is its click-through rate. And click-through rate is a number that's basically the number of people who have seen your ad, and your click-through rate is essentially the number of people who have clicked on your ad divided by the number of the people who have seen your ad. And obviously, Google want a high click-through rate. They want lots of people who see your ad to click on your ad. So that's the biggest and largest proponent of quality score. And they've also revealed that the next proponent of quality score is ad relevance. Now, personally, I'm of the belief that ad relevance is very tightly related to click-through rate. I mean, I think it'd be quite difficult to have a good click-through rate and bad ad relevance. So personally, I view them as kind of one of the same, because I think, the two relate so tightly to each other. So ad relevance is the second component, and the third component is landing page experience, whatever that means by Google. But it means, I think, a number of things, which we'll reveal a little bit later. So these are the three components that drive quality score. So always have those three factors in mind in terms of how you can improve a quality score. So let's get stuck into the hacks. So the first hack that you can do to improve quality score is to apply good account structure. We've talked about this in a previous episode in this podcast, whereby you need to employ proper and very granular structure in your AdWords account. And the best way to do this, and often the easiest way, is to have single keywords in an ad group. So if I step back for a second and just explain the structure of AdWords, at the top you have a campaign. Within a campaign you will have ad groups, and in those ad groups you have keywords. So to apply good structure, often we will run single keyword ad groups. That means we will have only one keyword in an ad group. The reason for this is that it ensures that we write a really good ad that is tightly related to that keyword, so we get a good click-through rate and good ad relevance. And as a result of those good factors, we get a good quality score. So this is by far and away the biggest and easiest way to improve quality score for a keyword, is by almost putting it in its own ad group and writing a really good, relevant ad that people will most likely click on. And Google will reward you with that, with a good quality score, and ultimately reduce your cost per click. So please apply good account structure in your account, because it will no doubt affect the bottom line of how much you're spending on advertising. The second way that you can improve quality score is to add some negative keywords, because if you think about it, by preventing your ad for showing up for unrelated search terms, as a result of that, you're going to improve the click-through rate, because your ad is not going to be showing for irrelevant terms. They're only going to be showing for good terms, which people are more likely to click on. So by adding a whole bunch of negative keywords, that will in turn improve your quality score. You might be wondering, how do you find such negative keywords? Just have a look in your search term report for ideas where you can say, no, this is not relevant. I'm going to add this as a negative. The third way you can improve quality score is by not using broad match type keywords. Broad match type keywords will give Google, as much rope as they pretty much like for your ad to show for often quite irrelevant search terms. And I see this all the time. I was auditing a dental AdWords account. They were using broad match keywords, and as a result of that, their ads were showing up for vet type queries, so animal teeth problems. So they don't deal with animals, they only deal with humans, and therefore that's, an obvious negative keyword that we would be adding in. But, really we shouldn't be doing this, but someone else was using broad match keywords, and that shouldn't be happening. The fourth way you can improve quality score is to do with ad relevance. So one way I like to do that is by rewriting the ad with the intention to improve the click-through rate by having some kind of call to action. And I've tested this heavily. Often you think it's obvious what you want people to do. But, as I said, I've tested this heavily, and pretty much every time I test having a call to action in the ad copy versus not having a call to action, the call to action one always wins. So what do I mean by a call to action? I mean explicitly saying in the ad copy, click here to download X, or call us for a free appointment, download for free now. You're telling people ultimately what you want them to do, and alarmingly, they do it. So go figure, So rewriting your ad with some kind of call to action and some kind of enticing ad copy will improve the ad relevance, will improve your click-through rate, and will ultimately improve your quality score. The next way you can improve quality score is by also putting the keyword in the headline of your ad. So, continuing on with the dental example, for example, because we were talking about that a second ago, if we're bidding on Dentist Sydney, I might put Dentist Sydney in the actual headline of the ad. Because if you think about it, someone's gone to Google because they're just looking for a solution to their problem, and they pretty much scan the results. They don't really spend time reading ads. They're just, desperate to find a solution. So they've just typed in that keyword, that, and if you put it in your ad copy, it entices people to click on your ad, provided it's a keyword you want. Once again, improving ad relevance and click-through rate, and thereby quality score. And the last way that you can improve quality score is by really trying to improve the landing page experience, be it using good images. Really what Google are looking for is they don't want people to go to your website and then leave straight away. That's a bad user experience for their users. So you want to, try and create some engaging content. Use visual imagery and good imagery, not just some really bad stock imagery. Maybe even improve your website speed, load speed, because people are quite impatient. And if your load speed is not high enough, they're not really going to have the patience to hang around. And all these elements will improve your overall landing page experience and hopefully improve your quality score as well. So there you have it. I hope you found this content helpful. Log into your AdWords account and have a look to see if you've got any keywords that are in trouble, be it with a bad quality score. How do you know? It's going to have in the status column next to that keywords, and it will say rarely shown due to bad quality score. So that's a little signal that you don't want to see in your account, which usually means that that keyword needs a little bit of love. So use the tips, tricks and strategies that we've literally just revealed in this episode. And I really think that you will improve your quality score. Maybe you won't get it to a 10, but undoubtedly you will get it to a higher number and hopefully reduce the cost per click. So I hope you found this episode helpful. For more information and show notes on today's episode, you can go to talkingwebmarketing.com and we will have a free resource available for you to download there. If you have enjoyed today's show, I would love you to leave a review. It would mean more to me than you would ever appreciate. And if you would like me to talk about any other particular kinds of content, let me know. I'd love to get some additional feedback from you. And thanks for listening. You have been listening to the Talking Web Marketing podcast. For more information or resources on today's episode, head on over to talkingwebmarketing.com.